Good morning, students. So, since yesterday I have started the second chapter, and there we have talked about sole proprietorship. So, today we'll be talking about the second form of business organization, that is joint Hindu family business. Okay, so Hindu undivided family, that is the another name of joint Hindu family business, first of all, and it can be defined as that form of old business. First of all, it is the oldest, it is also known as Hindu undivided family business. Second thing, it is the oldest form of the business, okay, in India, in which all the members of joint Hindu family or Hindu undivided family work under the control of the head. Control of the head, that is called as Karta. So here the oldest member of the family will be called as the head of the business also, and he is known as the Karta of the business. And why is it so? Because he is, first thing, oldest member of the organization. Second thing, he will be the one who will be taking the major decisions of the company. Okay, then if we talk about liability, as yesterday I have told you unlimited and limited liability. So the Karta is the one who will be having unlimited liability, and the other members of the family, they have limited liability. Let me remind you what is unlimited and limited. In case of unlimited, in case with the Karta, if something will happen to the business, if debts, he won't be able to return the loan or anything from his business, the loan amount which he has taken, if he won't be able to return it from the business, then what will happen? He will have to pay it from his personal property. The debts have to be covered with the personal property now. Got it? Then it is governed by the provision of Hindu law. Okay, it is governed by Hindu law and Hindu customs, and under the law, a business is distinct inheritable asset. Therefore, after the death of Karta, the business comes to be jointly owned by the living male who constitute the co-parsonary. Now, what is co-parsonary? Co-parsoners, they are the other members of the family, other members of the family other than the Karta. Understood? And if something will happen to Karta, the same position will be given to the next elder member of the family. Since Karta was the eldest one, now it will be given to another one after him. Then the basis is birth of particular family. Anybody who will take birth in that family, that person will be called as the minor member now of the business. Okay, and there are 3 successive generations in the business. And this I have already told, Karta and co-partners. Then before starting the features, let me tell you the Hindu undivided family business organization, it is divided into 2. Okay, gender, on the gender basis, Mitakshara and Dayabhag. So Mitakshara, it is applicable, first thing, it is applicable throughout India except West Bengal and Assam. Okay, except West Bengal and Assam, it is applicable throughout India, Mitakshara type of Hindu undivided family business. And then according to this, a son has a right in the joint Hindu family property by birth. That means all the male children will enjoy the equal rights. Okay, and the 3 successive generations will automatically begin or become the member of the family. Okay, the next is Dayabhag. It prevails only in Assam and West Bengal. Mitakshara throughout India except West Bengal and Assam, and then Dayabhag only in West Bengal and Assam. And as in case of Mitakshara, it was only considering boys. Now here they have no male or female issues. Okay, so under this system, in case of death of the co-partner who has no male issue, his widow becomes a co-partner. Understood? So both the male as well as female members can become co-partner of this Dayabhag system. Then comes the features of joint Hindu family business. The first one is formation. So as I told you, it is under Hindu law. Okay, so like partnership and joint stock companies, which you will be studying later, it is not needed registration. First thing, registration is not needed in this. Then the second thing, the rights, duty, liabilities, everything of the Karta and the members are governed by Hindu law. Okay. Then features, This I have already explained. Co-partners have limited liability and only Karta have unlimited liability. Then control. The head of the family is having the whole control, and that is Karta. Continuity. It depends, okay? Means if Karta dies, then it will obviously continue because other male members are also there. But at the end of the day, it depends on them. If they want to discontinue the business, they can stop or dissolve the business. Then minor members. By the birth, a male person becomes the member of the family, member of the business organization, sorry. Both the male and female have equal rights in business according to the Hindu Succession Act 2005. Okay. So what can you conclude from these features? We can conclude that Hindu undivided family is on the decline because of diminishing number of Hindu families in the country. Then merits. Effective control. Effective control means obviously since Karta is the oldest member, so he will be having effective control. Whatever decisions he will be taking, nobody can interrupt in between. Okay, whatever decisions he will take, that will be only the final one. Then continued existence. Even if Karta will die, it will continue. The same position will be given to another person and the business will continue. Then limited liability. All the members except only one have limited liability, so their personal assets will not be touched. Then next, increased loyalty and cooperations. Since they all are the members of a single family, okay, so there will be more cooperation and more loyalty in between all of them as compared to other form of business organizations. Then limitations of joint Hindu family business. Limited resources. Okay, basically these family businesses, they are not believing in buying the products from anywhere else or buying the machines, purchasing the machines, then plant layout and all these things. They are not decided by them. Basically they are dependent on what? On the ancestral properties. Whatever they are having, from that only they try to continue their business. Then unlimited liability of a Karta, that is a limitation for them. Why? Because the personal asset can be taken of Karta. Of Karta means obviously of the family. Dominance of Karta. Being head of the family, being head of the family and the eldest member of the family, he has the full right. Karta has the full right. So obviously somehow, somewhere he is going to dominate others. That whatever decisions I am taking, that would be the final one. Okay. Then limited managerial skills. So in other forms of organization, in other industries, the people, those who are working, obviously they are the applicants who have applied according to the jobs on the basis of their qualifications. Okay, they have applied for the job on the basis of their qualifications and all those things only they have got the job. So in those cases, the managers, those who are working there, they are more suitable or they are more skillful as compared to these members, those who are the family members. Okay, the family members, some might be having the degrees and all those things which can be useful for the organization, but others they might not have. Okay. Then comes partnership. So partnership, it is the third form of business organization. So partnership, it is totally different from sole proprietorship. Okay. In sole proprietor, there was a single owner. In partnership, it is an association of two or more persons. Okay, in which they can enter into a contract with their independent wills for mutual benefits. Okay. So in partnership form of organization, people come together with a view to carry on business in a common to make profit, and the relation of partnership exists out of contract and now not out of status. Then it is defined under the Partnership Act 1932. Then features of partnership. Formation based on the agreement. If they have to start the partnership business, then they have to sign an agreement that yes, they are going to start the business under the Partnership Act 1932. Then liability. Liability of each and every member is unlimited. So that's a sort of limitation for them. Risk bearing, since more than one person are there, so they are going to share the profits and the losses. Decision making and control, all have the equal rights to take the decisions and all have the equal control. Continuity, if one will die, if something will happen to one, then for example 3 are there, then depends upon other 2 whether they want to continue the business or not. Okay, so it depends upon them. Membership, 2 or 50. Okay, 2 to 50, so that is the number of members which are required in case of partnership according to section 464 of Companies Act 2013. Then mutual agency, each partner he is an agent of other partner as well as the firm, means they all will be working for each other. Easy formation and closure, they just have to sign an agreement and get it registered. Balanced decision making, since all of them will be taking the decision, so it will be balanced decision. Okay, there won't be any sort of conflicts. More funds, more people, more capital, more resources. Okay, so large capital can be accumulated. Sharing of risk, as many partners will be there, that much they are going to share the risk. Secrecy can be maintained. Okay, since they are partners, they are running for their own profit, they are running the company for their own profit, so it's very obvious they are not going to disclose the informations of the company to anyone else.